Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Chloe Feng. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Patients warned of long waits at public hospital emergency rooms. A crocodile captured at Yuen Long village was likely domesticated nearby, according to experts. And 5 people were shot dead by their neighbor inside their home in the U.S. state of Texas. The hospital authority is urging people to think twice before visiting an emergency room. Patients face long waits as many private clinics are shut down over the holiday. As many private clinics shut down during public holidays, people wishing to see a doctor are forced to attend an emergency room in public hospitals. But a recent resurgence of COVID, coupled with the flu season, made matters worse. With emergency rooms unable to cope with the demand surge, patients are warned of long waiting times. According to official estimates, patients at 7 out of 18 public hospitals were attended to after an average of 8 hours this morning. That included Eastern Hospital on Hong Kong Island, Kwong Wai Hospital and United Christian Hospital in Kowloon, as well as North District Hospital, Prince of Wales Hospital, Chun Kwon Au Hospital and Yam Chai Hospital in the New Territories. The waits are likely to get worse towards the evening. One of the patients at Kwong Wai was made to wait for more than half a day.
4點鐘到，等到今朝8點鐘先睇咯。
I've been waiting since 4 p.m. yesterday. It was not until 8 this morning that I saw the doctor, she said. The wait was so long she went home for a short rest to relieve a bad headache. Another patient waiting at Queen Elizabeth Hospital said he was prepared to wait, knowing the medical staff were very busy. The hospital authority said an average of 6,000 patients sought assistance at the accident and emergency wards in recent days. Around 1 in 6 were admitted to inpatient wards. It pleaded with people who suffer mild symptoms to consider going to general outpatient clinics or private hospitals. Animal officers were out in force this afternoon after a crocodile was spotted in Yuen Long. The reptile, measuring 1 meter in length, was discovered in Ling Fa Te village in Pat Hong at about 1 p.m. Experts from the Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation Department were called to the scene. They eventually captured the animal at about 5:30 p.m. An initial inspection believed it to be a Siamese crocodile, a species native to Indonesia and can grow to 4 meters in length. It likely escaped from a nearby enclosure. Crocodile sightings are rare in Hong Kong, where it is illegal to import or own the animal. A man was arrested after robbing 3 convenience stores in Sam Shui Po in quick succession this morning. The first holdup was reported at around 10 a.m. when the man confronted a store employee on Cheung Sha Wan Road. A female worker said the man threatened her with a pair of scissors. He made up with $1,500 in cash. 2 similar reports were then received at Nam Chang Street and Yu Chao Street, but staff from the 2 stores refused to hand over the money. A female worker was sent to hospital for a quick checkup. Police later arrested the 35-year-old suspect on Pei Ho Street. A concern group for the underprivileged is calling on the government to plug a legal loophole which deprives casual workers of benefits. Many of the victims are elderly people looking to earn a few extra dollars. Janice Low reports.
Ahead of Labor Day, the Society for Community Organization is pushing the government to plug what it called a loophole in the employment ordinance. Under a so-called 418 clause, workers are considered to be in continuous employment if they work 18 hours or more for 4 consecutive weeks. But SOCO says some employers try to circumvent the rule so as to skimp on medical and other benefits. It noted the most vulnerable groups are usually elderly people working casual shifts. Community officer Lei Ji-sheng explained how the loophole is exploited. Say a worker has clocked in 18 hours or more for 3 consecutive weeks. The company would then not assign that worker any duty in the 4th week so as to keep him or her out of continuous employment, he said. Among 50 or so elderly employees Soko talked to in the past 6 months, only 10% of them were entitled to paid sick leave. 2 out of 10 workers also did not enjoy annual leave or any compensation if they are fired on short notice. Many of the interviewees were aware they were deprived of benefits, but decided to stay silent for fear they would lose their jobs. The definition of continuous employment has remained largely intact since 1968, even though a review was completed a decade ago. Soko urged the government to either ease the weekly working hour requirement from 18 to 16 or allow workers to accumulate 60 hours over 4 weeks. It also called for penalties against wrongful dismissal and the circumvention of labor laws. Janice Low, HKIBC.
One of the initiatives from Chief Executive John Lee's election manifesto is finally coming to life. Chief Secretary Eric Chan and Home Affairs Minister Alice Mack officiated at the launch ceremony of the Southern District Care Team this afternoon. The team is further divided into 17 units, which will conduct home visits and provide support services to the elderly and others in need. On top of an initial grant of up to $1.2 million, the district has raised additional donations of over $7 million. Mack hopes the initiative can be expanded to 17 other districts by the 3rd quarter of this year. The MTR chairman has pledged to increase service frequencies in anticipation of a demand surge during the Golden Week holiday. Rex Aoyang also pledged to get to the bottom of recent series of blunders, but also called for understanding.
As economic activity picks up in Hong Kong, public transport is also ramping up services to meet growing demand. But according to MTR Chairman Rex Aoyang, passenger numbers have yet returned to pre-COVID levels. The city's only railway operator now provides 4.5 million passenger trips each day, compared to 5 million before the pandemic. Speaking on a radio interview, Aoyang said that it's because inbound tourism is still recovering, while more companies now allow employees to work from home. But he's confident ridership will continue to improve, especially during the Golden Week holiday, which yearly sees an influx of mainland tourists. They can now hop onto a high-speed train from 66 cities and arrive at West Kowloon Station, up from 58 in the past. Aoyang revealed a lot of work was conducted behind the scenes to prepare for the reopening of the terminus, which had been shut down for 3 years. He also apologized and vowed to avoid a repeat of the chaos during Easter, when many residents traveling north faced long queues during check-in or failed to secure a ticket. But that is not the only challenge Aoyang is facing. The railway firm has come under fire late last year when passengers were forced to evacuate from the train tracks twice in 3 weeks in separate incidents. It is now conducting a review of its rail maintenance program to win back the public's trust. But Aoyang pleaded for understanding, saying MTR trains complete more than 8,000 trips each day, and there are bound to be delays. The MTR has joined hands with local universities and study how to better detect potential problems using different technologies. A report will be published in the coming months. Despite the hiccups, the MTR boss insists that Hong Kong's railway system remains world-class, with services boasting a punctuality of 99.96%.
Overseas, police in the U.S. state of Texas are hunting down a man who allegedly shot dead 5 of his neighbors execution style following an argument. 5 others escaped unhurt, including children. Remy Yan reports.
While gun violence has become a fixture in the United States, the latest attack was particularly abhorrent. Police in Texas responding to a late-night harassment complaint were shocked when they found out what happened inside this house in Cleveland, a small town about 70 kilometers northeast of Houston.
And we arrived, found 4 people deceased inside the house. We life-flighted a 8-year-old boy to a hospital, and he has since been pronounced deceased at the hospital.
The victims, aged 8 to 40, were part of a migrant family from Honduras. Police said 2 female victims had wrapped themselves around 2 children who survived the shooting. It is believed the tragedy began when family members walked up to their neighbor's yard and asked him to stop firing rounds.
One of the victims came out of the house and said, "Hey, we have a small baby that's trying to sleep," and the man said, "I'll shoot out in my front yard, do what I want to in my own residence."
The gunman, identified as 38-year-old Francisco Oropez, later returned to his neighbor's house with the rifle and went on a rampage. 5 other people who were inside the house were not hurt, including 3 children, who were found covered in blood. Oropez fled the scene afterwards, and authorities initially tracked him using his mobile phone before the trail went cold.
He could be anywhere now. We located the device that we were looking for, found it abandoned. There was some articles of clothing laying around.
Residents said they have lived in fear for some time.
There's always shootings. There's always people calling the cops, and there's nothing being done. So yesterday I heard some shootings, but I thought it was like normal, like always. Never thought this was happening.
The attack adds to the growing list of 170 or so mass shootings in the U.S. so far this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive. Raymond Yang, HKIBC.
U.S. President Joe Biden called freedom of the press the pillar of a free society and not the enemy during a speech at the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner. Biden, who turned 80 last November, even poked fun at his age.
Yeah, I know. I just announced my re-election campaign. Some of you scooped that I'd announced in the video. But really, you really all thought in your heart that I just blurted out, didn't you?
We tried.
And look, I get that age is a completely reasonable issue. It's in everybody's mind. I call it being seasoned. You say I'm ancient. I say I'm wise. You say I'm over the hill. Don Lemon would say that's a man in his prime.
On to the weather now. Expect a mostly cloudy day with sunny intervals on Labor Day. Temperatures will range between 22 and 26 degrees. Possible showers on Wednesday. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. And that is our main news for Sunday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Chloe Feng. Thanks for watching. Good night.